Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of the Daily Debate. I'm your host for tonight, Mohamed. And tonight we'll be talking about Egypt's pivotal role in foreign policy, making continuous efforts to enhance regional and international stability. Egypt, the cornerstone of stability here in this, in the heart of the world, really, the Middle East. Before we begin, we'll just read out this top story for you tonight. As His Excellency the President and King Felipe VI of Spain issued a joint statement on issues of mutual concern on the Euro-Mediterranean relations, both affirmed their commitment to supporting the region to become a region of peace, stability and shared prosperity. To this end, they committed themselves to strengthening the regional partnership and its institutions, enhancing political dialogue and cooperation in areas of common interest such as trade, investment, transport, energy, migration, agriculture, fisheries, justice and security, and promoting intercultural dialogue. Concerning the Middle East, Egypt and Spain expressed their deep concern about the ongoing conflicts in the region and the risks they pose to the entire world. In this regard, they welcomed the ceasefire in Gaza, the release of hostages and the liberation of prisoners, and Spain expresses appreciation to Egypt's role as a mediator and guarantor of the ceasefire agreement. The two parties also stressed the need for the ceasefire to become permanent and to allow for the wide distribution of humanitarian aid and the release of the remaining hostages. The two parties also committed to supporting the Palestinian Authority in providing basic services in the Gaza Strip and restoring security in preparation for reconstruction as the unified government responsible for the phase of restoring stability in Gaza and the rest of the Palestinian territories. Spain commended Egyptian efforts to facilitate the reconciliation process between all factions in occupied Palestine. And the two parties stressed the right of the Palestinians to remain on their land and expressed their rejection of any attempts to displace Palestinians to neighboring countries or elsewhere. They stressed the importance of concerted international efforts to alleviate the suffering of the people in the Gaza Strip by increasing humanitarian aid and commitment to the rebuilding process of the Gaza Strip, again without the displacement of Palestinians from their land, taking into account the repercussions of the war on Gaza, which caused one of the worst humanitarian tragedies in modern histories. In this context, the two parties also called on international donors to engage strongly in the reconstruction conference to be hosted by Egypt. And it is also important to note here that His Excellency the President will attend in Riyadh tomorrow, that's Friday, a gathering of Arab Gulf Cooperation Council countries that also has Egypt on the table alongside Jordan and the Palestinian Authority, as they will be discussing the situation in Gaza, the proposal, the Egyptian proposal, an Arab proposal at large that's in preparation for the extraordinary Arab Summit of Leaders that will be held here in Cairo on the 4th of March for the Arab League. So an important day in Riyadh on Friday as the Egyptian and Arab proposals that aim to counter US President Donald Trump's proposal will be laid out, and the Arabs will try to unify their stances as to find the best way of supporting the just Palestinian cause and making sure that Palestinians remain on their land in Gaza and that Gaza would be reconstructed. With us here in the studio is Mr. Mohamed Salah, political analyst. A very good evening to you, Mr. Salah. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. So much is on the table.
Good evening, Mr. Mohammed, and I'm very happy to be with you and with your generous followers at this time, another time with you in this program.
Thank you, Mr. Salah, very much. Allow us, please, sir, and dear viewers, first to watch a report about our main topic for tonight. And this report tackles the Egyptian plan for Gaza's reconstruction. And of course, there should be also consensus on that Egyptian plan alongside the ranks of the Arabs in order to strengthen the position of supporting the just Palestinian cause. So allow us first to watch the report, and then we'll be back and start our discussion. All right, many thanks, Manel El-Ibiari and Khalid Abdelbari for this report. Of course, the Arab Summit will be on the 4th. Was scheduled to be on the 27th of February, but will be on the 4th. And the five-party summit has been expanded to gather all Arab Gulf Cooperation Council countries, along with Egypt, Jordan, and the Palestinian Authority. A lot is on the table, Mr. Salah. Where do you want to start? And the situation is not only hot in Gaza, regarding Gaza, but also Sudan. There are so many developments now happening and elsewhere in the region. But let's start with Gaza.
Well, I would like to start with Gaza, as Gaza is the main topic now that is discussed by all over the world. I think all the world now is talking about Gaza and about the day after the war, or the second day after the war, about Gaza. What will happen in the Gaza? As we have what's happening in the Palestinian lands now is apart from a global conflict. It's not only related to Hamas and Israel, or the Palestinians and the Israelis only. We have a global conflict, we have a global struggle that's concerning, or that's concentrating on building a new world order. A part of this is what's happening now in the Middle East, and which is known as.
Sorry to interrupt, but I should have said Gaza and the West Bank, not just Gaza, because also a lot is happening on the West Bank, as Israel is trying to copy what happened in Gaza, in Jenin, in
this is one of the media war. Right? Now we are talking about the media war. What is the meaning of the media war? Is that I'd like you to know, or to concentrate on only one subject, but I'm working on another subject under the table. And this is what is happening now in the West Bank. They are doing what they have happened in what they have done in Gaza in the West Bank, but without the media concentration, without giving them the light of media, or the light of actions, or they don't allow any other of the world to know what's happening in the West Bank. Now we have 40,000 of refugees in the West Bank, which is happening in El Jalil, which is happening in Jenin, and all of this is happening with no comment from all over the world, like what was happened in Syria. They have occupied a lot of kilometers in Syria without any comment from the world. Because why? Because they are targeting, or they are directing all of the concern and all of the ideas of the world towards Gaza only.
The 5 points they don't want to withdraw from in Lebanon.
Also in Lebanon, yes. Also that's happening. But they have withdrawn from most of the lands that they have occupied in the last actions, or the last military actions happened between them and Hezbollah. Now they have a lot of villages in the borders between Lebanon and Israel, and they are concentrating on these small villages only. But if you want to see what's happening in Gaza, you have to know, or have to link between them and what's happening all over the world. You have to know, I have to know that we have a lot of ideas about what will happen in Gaza in the day next to the war. We have a lot of ideas, we have a lot of plans, we have a lot of visions. So Egypt must have, or must mark for its plan, or for its project regarding what will happen in Gaza. This is the main idea, or the main action for having a comprehensive project for Egypt in Gaza. Comprehensive project that will gather all the aspects of this, of rebuilding Gaza. If you are talking about financial affairs or funding affairs, We have also constructions affairs, technical affairs. All of these affairs are centered or are placed in the Egyptian plan for Gaza, and this is important for all of them to have this action to have this plan into action as soon as possible. This is because I have a lot of ties between the Egyptian and Palestinian people. This is because Gaza is a part of the Egyptian national security, and we are affected by what's happening there, and we have a lot of problems and we have a lot of threats regarding what's happening there. We have a lot of threats regarding what the others are planning or the others are waiting to do in Gaza in the coming few days. For this, if we are talking about a new regional order, we have to keep in mind that Egypt is the leader of the current regional order. So Egypt have the right to defend its rights and have the right to defend its income, have the right to defend its regional power. All of these aspects should be taken into consideration when we are talking about the future. We have to know well that what's happening in Gaza will affect our future in Egypt, will affect our stability in Egypt. We'll have a lot of problems if Gaza still at this amount of destruction, and if the Palestinians are placed or transformed from Gaza to Sinai.
Okay.
So we have a lot of threats in this idea. We have to keep all of them away from our national security.
The most pressing issue now is whether the ceasefire will hold, and whether the Israeli Prime Minister will be serious about the second phase of negotiations of the ceasefire and turn it into a permanent ceasefire, or will he sacrifice the remaining hostages, those who are alive and those who are dead, or will he go back to war again? I don't know if this is possible. I don't know if even the US president will allow this. I mean, what do you think will happen from the Israeli side? Because we're seeing a lot of negative...
I think the main goal of this war from the early beginning of it was the displacement of Palestinians from Gaza to Sinai. And they haven't achieved this goal by all these months of war.
And without killing as many people, they are doing this in the West Bank now. Without, you know, the big massacres. With very small massacres, they are doing the same. No, the 40,000 you mentioned.
Sure.
They want the people of the West Bank to go to Jordan.
Sure, but we have to notice that the geographical actions or facts in West Bank is very different from what's happening in Gaza. You have what we are calling Israeli and Palestinians are living together in the West Bank. So we have a lot of actions that prevents them from giving the same action or the same military actions in the West Bank. Regarding Gaza, we'll have a lot of problems regarding the goals of Israel, why Israel has entered this war. We have entered this war for many goals, but the main or the basic goal of this war was the displacement of the Palestinians from Gaza to Sinai, and giving or controlling Gaza lands, Gaza shores, Gaza, the water, the national water of Gaza Strip, all of these ideas. What we are calling also about the gas, what that's happening in East Mediterranean gas, natural gas, a lot of power, a lot of power sources, a lot of petrol. All of these ideas are targeted from the early beginning of the war, but they don't have the ability to control. They don't have the ability to win. They don't have the ability to control or to rule what's happening in Gaza, because they have a lot of opposition with a lot of military action that is taken by Hamas and other Palestinians.
And that's why they were very happy when they heard Mr. Trump saying that he's going to buy it, he's going to own it, he's going to control it, well, he's going to sell it.
It's really one of the most threats that's happening now. I don't know how could a president of a superpower like America, like Mr. Trump, is talking about selling other lands. He's talking like whether Gaza, it's not...
He was asked about the Egyptian plan, and very recently, and he said, I haven't seen it yet. That was his response. And he said, when he sees it, he will reply. Is he open, do you think, Mr. Trump, to A credible plan. I mean, if the U.S. If Mr. Trump sees a credible plan, one that can move forward while allaying the fears of all parties, including the Israeli side.
Well, he don't have the desire to accept this plan, but he will accept it, as he don't have another plan. He don't have the desire to accept. He want to refuse. He want to action or to act like what we have said about his vision towards what will happen in Gaza. But at the same time, we have used, or we used to see the Egyptian plan in the Middle East and in Gaza and the Palestinian issue in general that are very, 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 very good. And these plans in Egypt nowadays, or in the past, or in the future, are very, very suitable for what's happening on the land.
A huge responsibility is on Egypt, on Saudi Arabia, on the leaders of this region. Would you agree that the Egyptian, the Saudi, the Arab plan is considering the fears of Israel and is trying to allay those fears? And we've heard Hamas saying they are ready to relinquish control of Gaza. This is what we understand.
But I'd like to say that, do you see that Hamas will do this? I have a doubt. I have a lot of doubts about this.
Relinquish control, but not relinquish arms.
Because
but that's a totally different. That's a totally different story.
Let me say that we have we have moved forward to disarming Hamas. We are now moving forward to getting Hamas out of Gaza. All of this idea is not pronounced, or is not.
What does Israel? What does
Israel
it want? It wants all Palestinians out of Gaza.
This is the main
including
Hamas,
including
including civilians, including Muslims, Christians,
including the arms, including everything. What's realistic? What's realistic?
What's realistic? It's not realistic at all, because they will go in a problem with Egypt. Because the Egyptian state will not wait and see what they want to do.
So what is realistic? Is that Palestinians would stay on their lands, something like the Egyptian plan? Something like the Egyptian plan.
Realistic now is helping the Palestinians to end up this struggle. You have to end up this conflict. You have to give them the right to declare the Palestinian state. With the East Jerusalem as a capital of these lands. This is the main idea, and this is the main solution, and they are getting rid out from this solution, and this is the main ideas, or the main treaties that they have accepted before, and now they are trying to get rid of these treaties that they have accepted. So this is the realistic ideas in this area, is helping Palestinians to go and to rebuild their homes, their systems, health systems and water systems, infrastructure in general. We have to help them to live like any other nation. We have to give them the rights. They have the right to live. Give them the advantage, or give them the chance to live as a human, to live as any other people. When they got this idea, when they got this chance, they will choose a different choice. They will go in another way in order to achieve what we are all looking for, which is peace for all the peoples of the Middle East.
Mr. Salah, dear viewers, we'll watch another report, and then we'll come back and continue our discussion here. Of course, Gaza is naturally the Palestinian cause is dominating the discussion here. And this second report is about Egypt's strategic balanced partnerships with East and West, North and South, as this Egypt is really has this great balance with all global powers. Please stay with us.
Egypt succeeded in achieving strategic balance and is having strategic partnerships with all global powers, despite their differences. Egypt's foreign policy aims to serve the interests and stability of the region. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration and Egyptian expatriates Badr Abdelati participated in Paris ministerial meeting on Syria, which was attended in part by French President Emmanuel Macron. During the meeting, Abdelati emphasized the importance of preserving Syria's unity, territorial integrity and sovereignty while supporting its national institutions. He called for an inclusive, Syrian-owned political process that represents all components of Syrian society without exclusion, in line with UN Security Council Resolution 2254. The ministry affirmed Egypt's full support for the Syrian people and their legitimate aspirations. He highlighted the need for a political process that reflects Syria's social, religious, sectarian and ethnic diversity, ensuring Syria becomes a source of stability in the region. Abdelati also stressed the necessity for all national political forces to play a role in managing the transitional phase and rebuilding the country's institutions to restore Syria's rightful regional and international standing. Additionally, he underscored the importance of regional and international cooperation in combating terrorism, emphasizing that no terrorist elements should be harbored on the Syrian territories.
Thank you, Manel and Khalid again, and we're back here with political analyst Mr. Mohamed Salah in the studio. Mr. Salah, I want to continue talk about Egypt's huge responsibility towards the just Palestinian cause and try to read the scenarios of what's going to happen in the next days really. We have an important meeting.
Not only
hours,
hours.
Yeah.
I think it's not easy to think what will happen in the coming few days, because everything is
changing
applicable.
rapidly.
Everything is applicable.
We have an important meeting in Riyadh tomorrow. The first phase will end of the ceasefire will end with the start of Ramadan. We have an Arab League summit meeting here on the 4th of March. I mean, we're going to respond to the Trump plan. The U.S. administration will respond. We don't know if the ceasefire will hold. The position of the parties. I see a big European role here. I believe the Egyptian plan has a bigger involvement for Europe. Talk to us about the scenarios.
I'm not counting a lot on the European rule, because the European rule now is have a lot of difficulties they are facing in Europe itself, and what's happening in Ukraine, and what's happening in the war between Russia and Ukraine. So you can't count a lot on the position or the situation that's gonna have, or that can come from Europe in general.
But why not, Mr. Salah? I mean, there is a divide, obviously, between the U.S. and Europe on Ukraine. They have different stances on Ukraine.
They have different stances on Ukraine.
And now they have different stances regarding the Palestinian cause.
What I mean to say is that you will not have a static or solid support from the European side. You may have what's called press conferences. You will have support from press conferences. You won't have more than
not
this.
Strong action.
Not strong action on the ground. But they have already announced that they will help Egypt. They fund the Egyptian plan to rebuild Gaza, and this is very positive situation from them. They also said that they are refusing Mr. Trump's vision regarding the future of Gaza and the future of Palestine in general. They have a lot of positive situations that's affected by the situations that taken by President Trump in the Ukrainian regime.
How do you see the upcoming days, weeks, months?
The upcoming
read into the future for us, if you.
The upcoming days, if we have spoken, we have to speak in a realistic mood, like what we have said. I think we have only two options. The first is going to peace and keep the treaty of ceasefire alive, and to go in extended negotiations between all parts of the Middle East. You will have Gulf, you will have Egypt, you will have Turkey, you will have Iran, and you have Israel and Palestinians. All of these parts will be gathered together in the whole negotiations regarding the new regime or the new order of the Middle East. This is the first option or the first action that should be taken in the coming few days. The second will the dramatic scenario. You will have a war, you will have a big regional war, it may be large to a world war, and this is whole parts of the Middle East are trying to go away from this. But will they run away from this presuppositions, or they will get into the problem and will the clash will happen between all parties, and will have a global or a high regional war, a wide regional war? This is about the future. But if you see what's happening in the land, I think that Israel have the desire to go to war, but they don't have the ability. They have the desire, but don't have the ability. And this will not affect them or not allow them to go to that dramatic option, as we have mentioned in the beginning.
You mean they don't have the ability to achieve the goals of eradicating Hamas, eradicating resistance, eliminating
they not have the
idea of resistance.
To do anything. They do not have the ability now to do anything.
Regaining the hostages by force.
Their military corps and their army is totally tired. They are totally tired, and they are not. They are very exhausted from what's happening.
And we're seeing many having psychological problems.
Sure.
We've seen an officer an Israeli officer committing suicide, I think today or yesterday, and this is happening.
This is happening
regularly
because this war
tens of thousands.
This war don't have a tangible goal. I don't have a tangible goal for this war. I say when I achieve this goal, I say that I have ended the war, or I have achieved the victory that I'm looking for.
With the political,
there is no political victory.
There is no political
vision for this war. It's only a continuous actions of destroying or killing. This is only what's happening for a year and a half in Gaza and all in the West Bank and in the south of Lebanon. This could lead the soldiers itself or the armed forces itself to madness. No one can live all this time in military actions. No one can have the ability to kill each time, kill children, kill women, kill all of the human what's happening, like what's happening in Gaza. So now they don't have the ability to go further in this situation.
Okay. Egypt, Qatar, and the United States were able to broker, the United States with Mr. Trump, were able to broker the ceasefire agreement. Do you think that now Egypt and the Arab world, maybe if Mr. Trump, somewhat likes the plan, that the Arab world, the unified Arab position, along with a belief that Mr. Trump wants peace, as he said. He said, I want peace. I mean, I'm a man of peace. I want peace. I don't want wars. I mean,
I
these
totally
are his
agree
words.
that President Trump is looking for peace, but we have a lot of...
So can this work? Can it convince Israel and Hamas of making the sacrifices? Because both parties will have to make sacrifices.
And this is the basics of the first option of the future, which is negotiating with each other, others exchanging benefits, exchanging interests, and how to go in a new regional order with each others. This is the main basic of this, is that the United States and the Gulf or the Arab nations have the same desire or have the same direction towards peace and negotiation and stop killing and stop war actions in the Middle East. So I'm counting a lot on this action or on this situation, that the Egyptian proposal or the Egyptian situation will help all of these parties to go or to choose to go through the path of peace, not war path. No one have to neglect war path. Don't have to enter this path, because all the people and all the nations of the Middle East
Do you think
will
Israel
be
is ready
affected
for the
badly.
Do you think Israel is ready for Israel and Hamas are ready for painful concessions, both of them, because it will take painful concessions.
There is no free peace. You have to pay the price of peace. There is no nation don't have peace with no price. So at the same time, we have to know that when they see the supporter of each part is concentrating or is counting on peace or depending on peace as a basis for the future, they will accept and they will be.
So you think this could work?
This could work, and if we have a strong desire, if we have a strong situation from the supporters of both sides. If President Trump, and I see that he's really speaking and frankly, and he wants to give a peace, but I think it's an unconditional situation for peace, or unconditional plan for peace, but still he have the basis of giving the Middle East the right to live. So we have to each of their plans, or each of the nations, to get along together to choose the peace direction, and we have to also to give or to reach agreement about regarding our problems, or regarding our changeables, in order to reach peace for all people and nations in the Middle East.
All right. On that optimistic note, we thank very much our distinguished guests with us here in the studio, the political analyst, Mr. Mohamed Salah. Always a pleasure to have with us, Mr. Salah.
Merci.
And thank you, dear viewers, for watching the Daily Debate. Please stay with Nile TV.